Dang technology. I was about to cry. It was gaslighting me. So unfortunately, you didn't catch me crying. You only saw me starting to cry. Yeah. So back to Christina. Yeah, I wasn't able to cry. I wasn't there for her. And I thought I was there for her, but I wasn't. I wasn't there for her emotionally. I wasn't there. I wasn't emotionally intelligent to recognize what had happened. I didn't learn how to handle that situation. I wasn't able to demonstrate empathy in that particular at that particular time. Could I go back and change what I did? No. And I'm thinking, like it's a right response or reaction to, people listening to this particular video would have that kind of response. You shouldn't have done that. You should be ashamed of yourself. Yeah, actually I was ashamed. And my ashamedness and my lack of knowledge and lack of tools did what I did. I'm not excusing it. I will make right this. And I've been trying to. I just didn't know what it was, and now I do. And I'm going to put it down on paper, and send a love letter to Christina. So back to the ashamedness, like being ashamed and acting on ashamedness. That's the behavior. That's the act. And I believe in God, and I believe that God has saved me. And have I ever acted on my personal flaw? Yes, I have. And not knowing and recognizing if I have. Prime example right there. My interaction with Christina. Christian. Didn't know it. Now that I recognize what I'm doing, I'm going to bring it to God. I'm bringing it to God. And all my deficiencies. So recognizing character flaw, I think, is extremely important. And then bringing it to God, because I can be free from that. I guess it goes back to when Jesus was on the cross, and Jesus says, or there are two criminals, and one has a reaction of, Jesus, remember me when you are in heaven. And the other criminal's like, you're God. You can take yourself down from the tree, from this tree. Can't you? Something like that. And what was Jesus' response in that situation? There will be one of you who will be in heaven. So powerful. We look at these events, and we could say, yes, one guy was like, okay, he recognizes Jesus for who he is and pleads and hopes for what Jesus proclaims to do on the cross. And the other one had a reaction. What would that be? The reaction. I think they both seen the miracles, quote unquote miracles. I'm gonna go look back on that one again, but it just comes. I just come back to this. One was a response and one was a reaction. Yeah, God can. So back to the being ashamed. Yeah, that is a character flaw. It's a temptation. No one wants to be ashamed. I don't want to be ashamed. What happens when one sees a character flaw in someone, or I have a character flaw? I want to hide it. I don't want anyone to know about it. I go back to the shame. It goes back to being learned about it, being learned to be shamed. So that, I guess that's the question. Have I acted on a character flaw, even though I believe in Christ? Yes, I have. I've given this example, and is it sin? Yes. And yeah, sorry, the thought, going back to the Jesus Christ on the cross, and what did he say? What did Jesus cry out? He says, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Wow. Just brings new light into this incident. I didn't know what I was doing. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse for me. But I didn't know what I was doing. But now I recognize it. And yes, I want to make right. Um, one thing I one thing I had one thing that I had an issue with, I think, is just, or a flaw for me as well, was judging others, not even knowing that I was trying to make right things. Right from wrong. Didn't even know it. Didn't even know it. You know, my character flaws playing into trying to correct things, and then doing right from wrong. All I wanted to do was to, like, I know that this incident has brought traumatic experience for Christina, and yeah, I want to bring to light. I acted in a moment of being ashamed, or it could have been that I was acting on it was unfair in my life. It wasn't unfair in my life that I was spanked and I couldn't cry, and therefore I paid it forward. I paid it forward in a pain not transformed will be transmitted. How true are those words? And could be within me that actually I was being treated unfairly, and out of spite, I paid it forward. I transmitted the pain. Yes, I will. This is something new.